Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inside the Dam podcast, brought to you by Papa John's. Right now, you can get a large two-topping pizza for $7.99 if you show a valid MSU ID. We thank Admir and the Papa John's crew for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast each and every chance we go into the production room. And we over here at KMSU TV and Radio are thankful for Papa John's and their support of the United States Broadcasting Department. We have a great show on hand for you guys today. I am Cole Clementich, your host. I also have a little bit of help on the tech side of things today. Juan Gutierrez is with us tonight. And yeah, like I said, folks, great show on hand. We're going to be showcasing a couple of softball athletes. So all three of them are members of the MSU softball team, just coming off of a very successful weekend against the University of Regina. We're going to have a little bit more on that. A quick message for the Minot State women's hockey team. A tough loss in the ACHA National Championship versus Liberty, but congrats on a great season nonetheless to all the players and coaches and everyone else involved. A great season on hand. Unfortunately, not the result, but wishing you guys all the best, all the seniors the best moving forward. And yeah, here's to another chance next year. But otherwise, congrats on a great season, Minot State women's hockey, and also good luck to the men's team in action right now as they are also taking on the Liberty University Flames as they are in the semifinal round. So all the best to them. But without further ado, guys, we're going to get things started off here. A softball junior outfielder from Minot State here, up from Manitoba. Joining us now, Izzy Penner. Izzy, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
Yes, we are very happy to have you here on board. So, yeah, just kind of simply talk about your start to the season. You know, how are you feeling right now, and how are things going for you?
Right now, things are going pretty good. Obviously, we just came off 4-game win streak, which is awesome. I feel like that was a really good response to how Missouri went, because when we were out in Branson, it didn't go exactly the way we were wanting. So we were just able to pop off and, go at it when we played Regina for these past 4 games, and it was awesome. And I'm just excited to see how, that carries us into conference when we play UMary in, a week and a half. I don't know exactly the date, but
it's coming up fast.
Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. So I'm just fired up that all of us girls, attacked. Even though we may have been up by a lot at some point during the games, we never just let loose, which I was really proud of. And, what my coaches are really good at doing this year is that they're really good at getting everyone involved in the game. It's not just 9 girls go out there and, those 9 girls stay the whole time. These coaches are really good at including everyone. So I was really proud of everyone that could get put into the game and step up and then make, a good appearance. Everyone, I feel made the most of what they got. So that just makes me look really forward to conference, because I know that I can trust everyone to go into the game and, perform at their best, So that was really good to see.
Yeah, the performances were very impressive by you guys. Quick finishes in all 4 games. Just talk about, I mentioned the word relentlessness with a couple of the girls. I think I mentioned it with you as well, or in the post-game interview that we had. But, just talk about, those finishes. How impressive were they really to be able to just kind of get some kind of relaxed moments in there, kind of maybe work on a few things? What were some of the things that you girls were able to tune up in those games against Regina?
To tune up in, what we were doing really good at? Okay, so one thing, and I really want to, congratulate our pitchers. In the past, we may have, struggled with getting a few more walks in the games than what we needed, but our pitchers were crazy this weekend. They did so good, and before this weekend we had World Series games, just inter-squad games, and they performed so well throughout all those. So all of our pitchers stepped up. Who was it? Kira Fournier, she's from British Columbia, one of our freshmen. It's she's a whole new person. She came out to these World Series games with so much confidence and so much composure, and nothing was looking like it fazed her, and she just popped off. Reegan hit a new personal record, which is awesome. So I believe that our pitchers, their energy really, what they were giving off translated into the rest of the team. Unfortunately, I was not getting anything in the outfield, which is a good sign, but I was I wasn't getting anything in the outfield because our pitchers were just dominating. They were mowing everyone, which was like so exciting to watch, again, going into conference, because I have that faith in them, you know? So I think that's something that like just helped us stay relentless. Our girls were having smart at-bats. We weren't just swinging, you know, like out of our butts at everything. Like, our girls were going up with a plan, but an aggressive plan. We, at the start of the year, had a problem with looking strikeouts, and so our coaches were really honest, like, we can't afford to look, like, we have to be aggressive. And so many girls made that adjustment. We had, maybe I can count on one hand how many looking strikeouts we had this weekend. So
That's
like,
good.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm exaggerating that. I might be making that up, but that's what it felt like. Because it's a night and day difference. I would say our pitchers owned this weekend, and then our hitters were aggressive. So, yeah.
And that's very good, but just talk about, not to downplay it, but do you ever get bored back there? Just kind of waiting for some action to happen?
Yeah, maybe sometimes. I got a text after the games from my dad saying, like, were you picking dandelions out there? Like, what were you doing? So, like, yeah, I get bored, but I'm also like, if they're mowing down hitters, like, I'll take that any day. There was one time, sometimes my second basemen can hear me, Paige and AK, they can hear me go, like, hit it to me, like, because I'll just be ready for something. Like, I don't know, in all 4 games I didn't get anything hit to me, so I was like, give me something here. And I would make jokes with them, like, throw the right-handed hitter, like, something a little outside so she can just plop it my way. But I'll take a strikeout over a pop fly any day.
Well, hey, that's a very good outlook to have. And, you know, just as a team, like, you guys show an infectious, positive energy on campus. You know, just talk about that a little bit. You know, what's kind of the mindset behind that, and how do you guys just keep such a high-flowing energy going around Minot State?
One thing, so we're just a loud team. Like, we got a lot of talkers on our team, which is great. I'm one of them, which is why I have, like, no voice right now. But one thing that's really, like, carrying our energy is, like, we keep preaching her success is my success. So everyone on our team, like, if you're my teammate and, like, I'm on the bench, I'm cheering for you, because if you make that play, like, your win is my win. So it's, like, a sense of unity, if that makes sense. There isn't, like, that level of, oh, man, like, she's playing, so I'm stuck on the bench cheering or something. That's not, like, what we're like right now. I feel like we're very much so, like, someone makes a play out there, we're all fired up for her. It's not, dang it, that means I'm not going to get playing time, which I think that just makes our energy positive and infectious, because I feel like negative energy is extremely contagious. And so as soon as one girl's, you know, mopey on the bench, we're, like, not on her, but it's like, hey, we noticed this, so pick yourself up. And they do. And it's not, like, it's never in, like, a, what are you doing way. It's in a, hey, like, join us, you know, which is good. It's, like, a positive, loud energy. We also have a lot of goofballs on the bench, like Courtney Chatburn, if you've ever heard of her.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Tell us some stories if you have them.
Oh, Chatty, she's always doing something funky on the bench. She's one of my best friends. I love that girl. But she's someone that's a very contagious, goofy, like, energy. And in, like, me, I can't be playing too serious, or else I'm tense. So, like, girls like Chatty, I would say Sophie Sparrow's one of them. Like, if you're goofing off a little bit, like, there's a line, like, you need a little bit of goof off to, like, keep it fun and relaxed. And, like, that energy just trails through our whole dugout, which is, I couldn't be more thankful for it. It's awesome.
No, and that's never a bad thing to have. Certainly, you know, as a group, you know, it kind of helps to, you know, because we are all human, obviously. And, you know, sometimes there are some people out there that think, oh, they're just there to, you know, play ball or do this or do that, and, you know, they can't have any personality. That's probably, like, all the old heads saying that. Yeah. It never hurts to have something like that. So that is good on you guys. And really just talk about, how do you guys, you know, balance that between that and school, and, you know, just kind of giving off that vibe around campus. You know, how do people kind of react to that?
How, like, we balance everything. It is hard. Like, freshman and sophomore year, I didn't find it too difficult. But now that I'm a junior and, like, I'm in communication disorders major, so things are starting to get more serious with, like, clinical stuff. Like, I'm starting to have to balance, like, real life stuff. So this year has been an adjustment for me with finding, like, student before athlete. So I just have to make sure how I do it is I plan everything out at the start of the week, like when I'm going to do my homework, when I'm going to do, like, when do I have time to slot out, like, study period, because, like, I do, and I'm very academically motivated. So for me, it's just finding, like, organization in my week, and I know a lot of girls on the team are like that. However, like, the girls that aren't as much of, like, you know, type A, like, planners, they're very much so, like, they will get it done. Like, I don't know, there's been something infectious on our team with grades, because it's not like it's a competition about grades, but to keep our team GPA up, we all know we're accountable for that. So it does motivate girls. And so I think that's one thing that people might notice around campus is that it's like, if you're letting your grades slip, then you're letting our whole team GPA slip. You know what I mean? And girls know that. So that keeps us academically motivated. And bus rides are honestly so good for, like, writing up a paper or something, because you can't sleep the entire bus ride. Maybe some people can, but I don't know. I personally, and I know a lot of girls, have always found it, like, easy to just grind some homework out on the bus. So that's what I would say about balance in softball. You do, like, you just figure it out. And, like, living with people, most of us girls live with teammates, and, like, living with your teammates keeps you in the same routine as them. And if you're all, like, if one person's motivated to do their homework, you're going to be motivated, because if you see them doing your homework and you're not doing yours, you're going to feel, like, guilty and anxious. So living with each other and being around each other all the time does keep you motivated to, like, get it done.
It's very good to keep each other in check.
Yeah.
And like we kept saying, you know, as mentioned, never hurts to have, you know, a goofy attitude or a funny personality, because that way it's, you know, infectious for everyone. And I think every day that keeps a good, healthy morale for the team, honestly. And, you know, you mentioned your major there, communication sciences and disorders. Let's talk about your classroom life as we have a couple minutes left here. What's the day-to-day life, and just kind of what's the lead up to where do you want to take your college degree overall?
Day-to-day life. So I wake up for my 8 a.m. or when I don't have weights, I'm at my 8 a.m., which is my audiology class, which I actually love. I find it very interesting. I'm very passionate about my major. So it's all, like, not that it comes easy to me, but it's easy to study for something you're passionate for.
Oh, yeah.
So when I'm not at softball or work, or because I work on campus, or classes, I'm studying, and usually I have a great group of girls. I'm actually, after this, going to go study with them in the library.
Awesome.
I have a group of 4 girls from Minot that I hang out with regularly, and we bounce off of each other, and, like, they're amazing they understand that I'm gone often for softball, so they're kind of my backbone in my classes. Like, hey, I missed this class because I was in Texas. Can you give me, like, a rerun on what we went over? Like, what are your extra side notes that you got from it? Like, they're fantastic, so they help me out a lot, which is great. It's so good to have people outside of softball as well that I can lean on, and, like, they can lean on me if needed. I don't know. So I really do credit, like, academic success to those girls that I've met, because they're phenomenal. But yeah.
No, that's good. Being able to take advantage of those resources on campus, certainly something that I think everyone should be able to go forward in thinking of, you know, future plans and being able to take care of everything that's on your plate, on the agenda. But lastly here, almost out of time, expectations for you in the classroom and on the field, and anything else you'd like to mention on the podcast.
Expectations in the classroom, I really want to maintain, like, a 3.8 and above GPA. I'm really driven for that. I want to do that so I can get into grad school. I would love to go to grad school here, if not here, somewhere cool. I don't know. I'm from Canada, so I want to see different parts of the States. So hopefully grad school here. If not, I'm going to go somewhere completely new. But yeah, so want to go to grad school for speech pathology. And then this season, so aside from the field, I kind of want to separate my identity from softball, because I feel like it is very, like, I love softball and it's my life, but it's very easy when you make softball your life.
I see what you're saying.
To get down on yourself about your stats. So, like, mentally this season I really want to, like, make sure, I struck out, but I'll learn from it, and, like, that's not just me. I'm not just a strikeout. I'm all these other things I've done. So, like, that's something mentally I really want to, like, work on for this season, just because that'll keep me more motivated. Sorry if we're running out of time.
No, you're just fine. Yep.
Yeah, so mentally, that's what I want to work on. Let's see. Performance-wise, I just want to be a very aggressive outfielder. That's something I want to do. I'm so excited that I've, because, blatantly honest, I have received more playing time this year, and I want to keep working at it. I want to be very aggressive in the outfield. I told my coach before this weekend I want to take aggressive at-bats. I just want to be known as a more aggressive ball player this year. So, yeah.
Definitely some wise words to live by at some of the things you just said there, and certainly everyone, or some notes that everyone can take away if you are watching. But Izzy, we are out of time, but you did have some good stories in there, so thank you for being here on the Inside the Dam podcast tonight. We wish you all the best in your journey.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, there you have it, folks. That was Izzy Penner kicking us off in the first segment of the Inside the Dam podcast. We just want to remind you that you can get a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99 with a valid MSU ID if you go to Papa John's. You show that ID and you can get yourself a sweet deal with that large 2-topping pizza. Whatever toppings you'd like, honestly, it's all up for interpretation, but I think that is a pretty darn good deal. We always want to thank Admir and the Papa John's crew for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast. When we come back here, folks, we're going to have our next guest also from the softball team. Don't go anywhere. You're going to be joined by Juan Gutierrez, who's going to be joined with our second guest of the night. Don't go anywhere. You're watching or listening to the Inside of the Dam podcast. We will be right back after this quick break.
All right, and we are back. Welcome back to the Inside the Dam podcast, episode 14. Cole just got off with the first podcast, and we are starting the second one. I'm your second host today, Juan Gutierrez, and we are going into our second interview of the day. I am here with the sophomore pitcher from the sunny state of California, Miss Reegan Floyd. Reegan, how are you doing today?
I am fantastic. Thank you for having me.
And I just want to go off of, you had a very successful week this past weekend, getting your first ever collegiate no-hitter. How was that? How did that moment feel?
It was honestly, I was so happy. I didn't even realize that it was my first no-hitter. I was not paying attention to that because I found in the past, as soon as I realized that it's a no-hitter, the very next pitch is going to be a hit. So, I don't know, it didn't cross my mind, and we were going over everything after the game, and they were like, yeah, congratulations on all the strikeouts, and you threw a no-hitter. And I was like, what? No way. So it definitely caught me off guard, but I was so happy and so proud of myself, too.
And yeah, talking about your strikeouts, you hit your career high with 13. That's very impressive. Congratulations on that. And you were also named Pitcher of the Week by the NSIC. How's that moment, getting and achieving that accomplishment? How did that make you feel?
I was so happy. I actually found out that I got NSIC Player of the Week in the middle of a class. So it was kind of hard to focus because my phone and my Apple Watch are blowing up. So I'm like, what is going on? And I just glanced down and I see everybody, good job, Reegs, good job, Reegan. And I looked, I was like, what the heck happened? And so I'm in class, I'm trying to pay attention, but I'm shaking with excitement. So I have always wanted that. And at the beginning of the year, this year, I said, I want to get NSIC Player of the Week at least once. I did not know that it was going to happen this week. I'm very glad it did because I did beat my personal best on strikeouts. So I was just kind of the stars aligned this weekend, and it was very good weekend for me. And I think it was valid. We have been working really hard this week. And I don't know, I was on and I was feeling it, so I'm very thankful for it. I'm very happy.
And after completing these big accomplishments, the next question is what's next? What are your next goals? What are you gonna try to achieve next? How are you gonna surpass this?
Yeah, so I definitely want to beat the strikeout record again, but I think what would make it even better is if I did it in conference. My previous record of 12 was against Bemidji State last year, and they are in our conference. And so I think to beat my strikeout record in conference with a higher level team would be my next goal. And then after that, maybe one of the top 3 teams and kind of just build the ladder from there and just kind of keep beating records, I think, now.
And having all this like accomplishment, it doesn't always come easy. What kind of like problems or obstacles did you and the team have to surpass in order to get to the success you guys are at currently?
Yeah, so this year, our pitching staff is pretty young. Like you said, I'm a sophomore. I'm a true sophomore, and we have 2 true freshmen on the mound, and then we have Gabby, but she's came off of an injury, so she kind of had to restart with her arm, and she's doing great. I'm very happy to have her back. But when you do have a young staff, it is a little like nerve-wracking because you're coming off of a completely different level of competition from high school to now, and this year was kind of my like, okay, getting the swing at things. I got my awakening last year when I was a freshman, so I thought maybe this year, okay. And then, so it was like we kind of had to put the pedal to the metal fast and get things rolling. Really no time to make mistakes, especially because last weekend or 2 weeks ago in Missouri, Callie, she had a little head injury. So that was definitely nerve-wracking because I was like, oh, gosh, I don't know how long that's going to take to get back. So it was really just no time to make mistakes, no time for wiggle room, and just kind of get the ball rolling, me having to kind of step up as the healthy sophomore and lead the freshmen and kind of get them used to what it's like pitching in college. So it's just been a lot all at once, really no time. Just kind of hit the ball rolling since the fall.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, congratulations. Like, you guys have done amazing and surpassed these past 4 games. And so I want to bring it back a little bit. So you are from California. What made you choose Minot? Like, why? What was, like, the deciding factor, decisions behind that on coming over here?
Yeah, so I am from Northern California. I'm not from the beach. Nothing against the beach. I love it down there. But everyone's always like, oh, like, you know how to surf. You came from, like, 100 degrees every day. Like, no, I am from the cold part, way up north. But still, it definitely is. I had never seen negatives before I got here. I was actually recruited by our previous coach, Nat Wagner, in Las Vegas during a travel ball tournament. And at first, I was like, thanks, but no thanks. Like, my brother was in the Air Force here, and every time I talked to him, I would just remember him saying, oh, it's freezing. There's nothing to do. But he's from Vegas, so I can see where that comes from him. But I'm from a tiny town, so I was like, 45,000-something people? Oh, my God. Like, that's a city. But I was kind of like, we'll see. And then I got the offer to come on a visit right when COVID ended. And that was we kind of had to, like, get the ball going. I knew they were looking at me right before COVID. The world shut down. The world opened right back up. So I was like, you know what? Might as well. Like, world's starting to open up. I got an official visit. Like, why not? We'll check it out. I came here. Coach Nat, he was awesome to me, made me feel welcome. The girls, they were awesome. Even though things were still kind of shut down, they did their best of welcoming me, meeting everybody. And I just had a really good gut feeling about the place. Everybody I ran into here was so nice. I loved how tight-knit the community was. Just hearing stories, I mean, given I didn't get to go to any sporting games, but just hearing stories and going around and seeing, like, Minot flags and Walmart, everyone's wearing Minot State stuff. Like, I loved that. And I knew I didn't want to be at a big school where everyone was just like, oh, that's a school, but somewhere where they, like, knew your name without having you be, like, famous, So I really just liked that, and it was a step up from my tiny little hometown. So after just considering with both my parents and some other family, they were like, I think it'd be perfect for you. Coach Nat did say that he could see me playing in the field as a freshman, which was also huge because so often you hear about players having to wait till their junior year to even see the field. So having the opportunity to play and maybe start as a freshman was definitely big for me, and I knew if I worked hard, I could definitely do that. So with all those things in mind, and it's so affordable here, especially coming from California. So I was like, you know what? Let's go for it. Before the world shuts down again, let's go for it. And I thank God every day that I did. I love it here.
Yeah, no, I'm the same because I'm from California, so it was definitely a little shocker with the wind and everything. At least I personally that
definitely
kind of like the coldest and worst part for me. But affordable, great community, all around, pretty good area. I like it. And
Definitely,
it's more smaller, and the teachers are able to more focus on you. But going to like the teachers and stuff, what major are you in, and how has the balance between being a student and athlete been throughout these past 2 years?
Yeah, so I am a corporate fitness and wellness management major. I love my major. Coming here, I was a little undecided, but the second I got involved with the weight program here and seeing Caleb and Brody like function with all of us, I was like, wow, that would be awesome. So I declared that, and I've loved every second of it. So I'm very thankful for that, because every day waking up, it's not like, ugh, I have to go to class. It's like, oh yay, like I get to go to class. I get to, coach this person, lead this. So that part is very easy. They say like, if you love what you do, you never work. That's kind of my boat right now. Sometimes it definitely does get tough, especially with those like gen eds you have to get out of the way when you're like, I really don't want to take this, but I have to. Those are the things I kind of procrastinate. I'm like, okay, no, you got to do this. So those things, the least favorable classes kind of get tough, but now that I am getting into my more major specific classes, it does make it a little easier just because I enjoy it so much. But it is tough. They don't lie when they say time management is a must when you get to school. So some days are easier than others, but for the most part, I do enjoy most of my days here.
And yeah, so speaking on like your team aspect, being a student athlete takes up a lot of time and all, and just being able to manage the two. What are some of the ways you've been able to like kind of de-stress or relax, whether it's team events, going out, doing activities through mine out? Like, what are some of your stuff to just kind of be normal and chill out?
Yeah, no. The second I can just get to a friend's place and not talk about softball and watch movies and do karaoke, I love that. I love all my teammates, but I have, my tight-knit little group, which are the girls in my class, and as soon as we can get back together and, go out to eat and go get our nails done or something like that, just girl things, I love doing that. Yeah, watching movies, karaoke, we love karaoke, card games. Sophie Sparrow, she always says good food and good company, and that's what we do. We potlucks, things like that, and then yeah, it is nice to be a girl sometimes and go get nails done and things like that. But yeah, I definitely take advantage of those things on the off days, and sometimes I just sleep. Sometimes I watch Netflix and sleep, but I mean, when you are a student athlete and you sit still for too long, I'm like, okay, I'm late to something. What do I have to do? So those were times I'll be like, I'll just go over to their place and make it feel like I'm doing something. But there are some days I'm like, oh, I just need to lay down for a minute.
But so yeah, you're saying karaoke. What is your go-to song? What are you opening up with? I think everybody wants to know.
Goodness gracious. It's definitely going to be a country song. Oh, goodness. I would probably... Oh, God, this is tough. I would probably have to say Chattahoochee by Alan Jackson. My dad and my grandpa, we all love Alan Jackson, and I grew up like swing dancing to those songs, and I just grew up with that type of music. So I would probably have to say Chattahoochee by Alan Jackson.
It's not a bad pick at all.
No.
Not a bad pick at all. But yeah, overall, student athlete, what are some goals or things that you want to kind of work on, whether it's just in school, personal, sports, family? Like what are some things that you are trying to work on?
Yeah, let's see. Family wise, I really want to stay in touch with everybody back home. That is so easy to forget about, and just because they're there, they're in your corner. So I make it a steady effort to call definitely my parents, grandparents every Sunday. I mean, they are the reason I'm here. So calling every Sunday, call home every Sunday. I really make an effort to do that. School, above a 3.5 GPA is what I'm really going for. Right now, I have a few 8-week classes that just ended, and so I started my certified personal training certificate through NASM. So I'm working on becoming a personal trainer, hopefully by the fall. So getting that done while incorporating that with my current classes. I would love to get that done above a 3.5. And yeah, softball, just keeping the ERA low, strikeouts high, try not to give up as many home runs, kind of just like basic stat things, but also just keeping intact with mental health and relationships with all my teammates and my coaches. Really just prioritizing all good things in every aspect.
All right, and then we're going to come up on wrapping this one up, but I got one last question for you. What is some advice you have for people coming in to, whether it's just softball or Minot in general, or what is something you would want them to know? If
you're coming to Minot, get a good coat. Get a good coat. Invest in some Carhartt beanies. Yeah. In Minot, I would definitely say that. But if you're coming to school, whether you are a student athlete or just a student, find what you want to do and have it be something you love. That makes sense. Whatever you want to do, make sure it's what you love. Because like I said, I wake up and I go to class and it's not, oh, I have to go to class. It's like, oh, heck yeah, like I do this class, I'm one step closer to doing what I love. So don't come in necessarily declared, kind of explore your realm. If you are set, like don't be afraid to be open-minded to something else. I was coming here thinking I was going to do like communications and like public speaking, and then I saw a bunch of athletes throwing some iron around and I was like, that'd be cool to scream at some people, lift the weight. So like, it's a pretty big difference. So I would just say keep your options open and whatever you love, go for it. And if you are a student athlete, time management, you're going to have to figure it out before it figures you out. So managing that, when you get the homework, just do it. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow because tomorrow's 3 weeks from now and now you're asking for an extension. So yeah, definitely learn time management, but don't forget about your relationships and that you are a human before you are an athlete, and call back home and keep those relationships. And it is balance. You do figure it out, but the quicker you get adjusted and less you slack off, the better.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, Reegan, for joining us today on this interview. Don't go anywhere just yet. We will have a quick break, and then Cole will be joining us back for our third and final interview. And thank you again, Papa John's, for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast. We will be back shortly, so stay tuned.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Inside the Dam podcast. As always, we want to remind you guys that Papa John's has an MSU special. You can get a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99. If you go over there and you show a valid MSU ID, you can secure yourself with a slam dunk of a deal there. We always thank Admir and the Papa John's crew for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast. Great show that we have so far for you guys. We have one more guest. Just want to thank Juan for the last segment and a lot of great stories and insight from Izzy Penner and Reegan Floyd. But without further ado, our last guest also comes to us from the softball team. Junior infielder from British Columbia, Brooklyn Morrison, joins us. Brooklyn, thank you for being here. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. So you were actually one of the few players that were named NSIC Players to Watch. Talk about your start to the season and how it's been going for you, and how is that? How did that honor feel getting that Player to Watch tag?
Yeah, I definitely think it built a lot of confidence going into the season. It's an honor to be kind of picked out from, people that I look up to a lot. So that was a really great thing and just a big confidence boost coming into the season. It's definitely helped, in my game, just being, like I said, that confidence, being able to go out and just knowing that I have people behind me that trust me and know that I can do my job. And that definitely helps me a lot in my mindset when I'm playing the game. So definitely was a great start to my season for sure.
And we were just talking with Izzy earlier that the series against Regina, talk about some of your personal achievements with that. And I mean, you went crazy that weekend. Just kind of talk about, the success from your vantage point, from a team vantage point as well, and what was clicking for you girls that weekend?
I definitely think like going into that season, we were, having that month to prepare. We had a lot of days off, just being able to practice, no games this month. So that definitely helped, just being able to get, kind of all on the same page again in the team aspect. Personally, I think it was just a lot of confidence this weekend. I felt good. A lot of people behind me, a lot of people cheering me on. So it's always a good feeling when you're playing. It helps a lot. And just being able to have fun in these games. The one good thing about our team is we have a lot of depth. So it's really nice to kind of get everybody in a game and, cheer on your teammates, have your teammates cheering on you. So I think that was a huge thing coming into these games as well. And just being able to kind of have a good foot forward going into conference. So that was really good for the team as well.
Yeah, and it's a big time coming up this year, this part of the year, that conference season. The games mean a lot more, and, just being able to get in on those rivalries. So you guys have the University of Mary coming up. How fun is it going up against them always? And, just talk about the rivalry and, how much more really does it mean for these conference games for you guys?
Yeah, like I said, these past couple of games have kind of given us a good foot into those series that are coming up. And, it's always a good game with you, Mary. That rivalry has always been built strong, and it, remains strong throughout every sport and throughout the year. So it's always really fun playing them, a lot of high energy. And I personally, I love playing you, Mary, with just like certain personal ties. One of my best friends plays on that team as well. So that just brings in an extra little bit of fun side for me, having that competition with somebody that I know very well and have grown up playing with. So, but I think in a team aspect, they're a team that we've always been very gritty against and have always been able to, kind of show our best foot forward against them. So it's always an exciting game when we get to play you, Mary, for sure.
Will definitely be fun going into that next week. But we were talking the infectious positive energy with Izzy earlier, and how you guys as a team just like to go crazy, just go happy-go-lucky on campus, just kind of talk about that and, what kind of stuff that you contribute to, bringing that positive energy on campus, and, how do people get a good reaction out of it?
Yeah, I think definitely with our team, we have a very good camaraderie along the girls. Like, we are all very close and we get along really well. So I think that helps a lot, just having friendly faces around campus that you can see, say hi to, have fun with, and just, girls that are kind of inputted in all different sides of the campus. We have different majors, different, clubs that people are in. So I think that helps a lot too, getting our team out there, our faces out there, and just being, a friendly group of people to see on campus and kind of just putting our best foot forward as a team. So I think that's a big thing for us.
Yeah, we'll talk classroom life here in a little bit, but talk about, the softball team being able to compete in like the dance battles and the I'm already spacing it out already. The kind of the Beaver Cup competition.
Yes. Yeah.
The Beaver Cup challenge. Talk about that a little bit, and how do you girls just get together and be able to showcase yourselves in all these campus events?
Yeah, I think again it kind of goes back to how close we are kind of off the field. So I think it just kind of makes it easy when we can all go and just watch other sports and support other sports. That's a big thing. We always love going to, games in the Dome or hockey games or soccer games, things like that. And it's always just fun to have extra time off the field for us to just hang out and support our friends that are on other teams as well. And then with the dance battle, again, just being able to kind of goof off and have fun off the field and just show our, like, fun sides and our personalities through, like, things like that people don't really get to see when they only see us on the field. So it's just really fun to, spend time with the girls in a way that, we don't really have to think about softball and we can kind of just goof off and have fun.
Yeah, Izzy mentioned that in our interview with her earlier, just some goofballs on the team. It's very good to have, a healthy team bond and team chemistry. Like, you're allowed to be human. Like, there's some things where some people out there, like even in the professional sports world, they're only just watching those people just to watch them perform. Like, they don't know that they have lives, and there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that happens. Like, they're just as human as they are. So yeah, for sure. But transitioning into campus life, so you're from British Columbia. Talk about your experience going from Canada to the States. What was that like?
I guess coming out of high school, it was always, it was just a really cool thing, being able to, go to a place that obviously like you said, I'm not from, and being able to go into a different country and do, play a sport that I love, study something that I love. And I think it was just really cool, especially, being able to just experience a different part of the world and being able to kind of live on my own and do things on my own, which, is a big change. And I think just being really grateful for the opportunities that I have, because a lot of people, like back home, certain sports aren't as big as they are here. Athletics, don't go as far sometimes. So I think it's a really cool opportunity that I'm really grateful for, to be able to travel so far out of my comfort zone and be on my own and do things on my own, and, just have a really good group of girls to be able to welcome me in and just experience this with. So it's been really awesome.
Awesome. And you are listed as a nursing major. What are some of the things that you see in the day-to-day classroom life?
Oh, day-to-day kind of changes every day. Nursing is kind of you just take it day by day. Everything is different. You never see the same thing. But I have just been loving everything that I've been doing with all my clinical experience and just all of my classroom stuff, and, just the experience that I've had so far. I've only been in the actual nursing program for this is my second semester now, but just all the different experience and like real life experiences that I've been able to see that I kind of just grew up kind of thinking about, but now it's stuff that I do every day, and I get to do hands-on stuff, which is what I love, and being able to be around people every day. But yeah, my day-to-day looks different every day, so kind of changes.
And how do you personally balance that with softball? Because it's got to be such a rigorous schedule. I mean, it's got to be like something that's – is it too crazy for you, or just how do you, keep a healthy, balance between that and this, between nursing and softball?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to, as cheesy as it is, I'm sure Reegan and Izzy kind of mentioned it, but time management, I think, is a big thing. And, you kind of grow up and, people kind of engrave that in your brain, and you don't really take it super seriously. At least I never did, my first semester at college. But now that my work is kind of getting into the nitty-gritty stuff and getting a lot more busy, it's just definitely, planning out my days. I have like a monthly planner that I write down, my big assignments, and I write down when I have practices, weights, games, and all that kind of stuff, so I can keep myself accountable for things that I have due and when I need to do things. And, outside of softball, just honestly taking in as much as I can in the classroom and, like, using my support groups, people that aren't on my team that are in my classes that I've become really close with. They've been helping me out a lot, especially when I've been traveling, and they can kind of tell me what I missed, or they can give me some insight onto, what I need to look forward to in our next class and stuff like that. So that's been a huge thing, just relying on the people around me that are kind of in that same situation as me.
Yeah, taking advantage of those campus resources like we talked with Izzy. And I'll ask you the same questions I did with Izzy. Where do you hope to take your degree? What are some future plans? Are you looking that far ahead, or just kind of more focused on the now? But if you are, just talk about, where do you hope to take this degree?
Specifically, obviously, it kind of changes, day to day, like I said. But right now, my biggest goal and my things that I want to do right now with my major is just with nursing. I really want to do labor and delivery or pediatrics. So that's kind of where I'm moving towards right now. But like I said, it could change tomorrow. It could change next year. I don't know. But as of right now, that's kind of where I'm looking forward to. But I'm really just kind of working on taking in all the experiences that I get in my clinical setting to just kind of see where I fit best and where my personality fits best, for sure.
And expanding on that experience, what are some of the expectations for you in the classroom and also on playing on the field, and anything else you'd like to mention here on the podcast?
In the classroom, obviously, I think, like I mentioned before, just those experiences. I just want to get as much in-person and hands-on experiences as I can before I am kind of on my own in the workforce. I think it's really helped me a lot being able to go into my clinical settings and being able to shadow nurses, because I know that I can watch them do things. I'm a very visual learner, and so I can watch them do things, and it really just clicks in my brain a lot more. So I think I'm a very experience-based person. I work better when I can do things hands-on, and I have that prior knowledge of actually doing it myself rather than, kind of reading it from a textbook. So I think that's a really big thing school-wise. Looking at on the field, I think definitely one big mindset that has really helped me transitioning in my past couple of years is just definitely process over outcome. And I really want to focus on, if I'm doing my process correctly, then the outcomes will follow. And the outcomes might not always be there, but as long as my process is smooth and going in a good direction, then that's a big goal for me, to just kind of keep working towards that and kind of just, you know, staying on a steady upstream, especially with, you know, a successful season I had last year. I think just kind of building off of that and just kind of keeping that mountain climbing for sure.
Hoping for the utmost success for you and for the rest of the softball girls as well. Brooklyn, thank you for being on the show today. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was so much fun.
Yes, thank you. Unfortunately, we are out of time here, folks, but that is going to do it for us here on episode 14 of the Inside the Dam podcast. I want to remind you guys one last time that Papa John's has an MSU special. You can get a large 2-topping pizza for $7.99 if you show a valid MSU ID. Of course, we always want to thank Admir and the Papa John's crew for sponsoring the Inside the Dam podcast and supporting the Minot State Broadcasting Department. That is going to do it for us. With Juan Gutierrez, I am Cole Clementich, your host for the Inside the Dam podcast. We'll be back next week with another 3 guests. Of course, we want to wish a good luck to the MSU men's hockey team in action right now. Last I checked, it was 1-0. Liberty had the lead, so hopefully MSU turns it around. I haven't checked since, but hopefully MSU turns it around and comes away with the W and hopefully a chance to play for the national championship. But again, congrats to MSU women's hockey on a great season. Unfortunately, not the result, but wishing them all the best, especially for the seniors moving on in their next endeavors. But great season nonetheless there, ladies and coaches. But thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, back next week, and hope you guys have a good rest of your night.